Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Clarice if you do not know already. For this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my tips that I have for using this camera. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys the overall experience that I've had with this camera as well. The camera that I'm going to be talking about today is the Fujifilm Instax Mini 11. This one is in the color blush pink. Fujifilm also sells these in other colors as well, such as sky blue, charcoal gray, blush pink, which is this one, lilac purple, and ice white. Those are all the names that they have for each of the cameras, or for the color choices. They all lay on more of the pastel side, but personally I think that's a little bit better because it's a little more toned down and it's not so flashy and bright, I suppose. So this is what the camera looks like. It's very similar to the ones that they've manufactured before, except this one's a little bit more slimmer. For this camera though, the only feature that you really have is to turn it on, and it has selfie mode as well. All you have to do is press this button here on the side, and then for selfie mode all you have to do is push this lens out a little bit and then it'll be on. So that's essentially what it looks like. For some of their other cameras, I know that they have settings depending on what the environment might be, if it's like cloudy or something, but this one is actually a lot more simpler. I think that it is super nice and very clean. I'm not going to talk too much about this because there are other videos out there that go over this entire camera. But what I'm going to do right now is start giving you guys some of the tips that I have for using this camera, and this goes for a lot of other instant cameras as well. The first tip that I have for you guys is that if you are using the viewfinder, you want to center your image. It's not really centering because it's not in the center, which is quite annoying, but it's okay. You just need a little bit of adjustment. All you have to do is move the camera a little bit up and to the right, and the reason for that is because the viewfinder, as you can see, it's up in this top right hand corner. It's shooting the top right hand corner. It's not centering where the lens is, so that's why you need to adjust it. This has happened to me a lot of times in some of my photos, and it's just something that I've noticed. It's also in the instruction manual, not like anybody reads that. I just noticed that it was kind of off a little bit. So when you are taking a picture looking through the viewfinder, make sure that the circle that you do see is a little bit up and to the right side of your object. So whatever you are taking a picture of, it will be a little bit to the bottom left side of the corner, but that's okay because when it takes the photo, it'll be a little bit more center. The second tip that I have for you guys is kind of basic, but it is to use good lighting, good natural lighting as much as you can. Here's a photo that I took with my sister, which we took against the light, and it's actually a little bit overexposed and it's kind of hard to see, so that's why I recommend facing the other direction. It's actually quite clear and bright, however I think it is a little bit more exposed up here and also on our faces as well. So that's just an example that I have for you guys. Another tip for when you're taking photos is to go a little bit closer than you would think. For example, I took a picture of my boyfriend while we were in the car, except that really wasn't a good use of a film because it's simply just in the car, but this is essentially how it turned out, and as you can see, it is showing way too much of the car because looking through the viewfinder, I tried to cut off this portion and this portion, except it ended up being way too exposed. And for the record, the Instax Fujifilm Mini 11 does claim to take pictures with a brighter background as opposed to some of the other cameras that they've manufactured. Something else that I want to share with you guys, which I actually didn't know, is that when you are taking photos, there is a little counter here at the bottom of it. This lets you know how much film is left inside. However, whenever you do open it back up again, it will restart back to 10 because I know that there are 3 films in here, but this is saying that there are 7. That is because I opened it, but obviously you are not supposed to. However, if you do open it, it is okay. Just make sure that you are not pulling out the film that is in there, because once that gets exposed to light, then you're going to ruin that entire film. And you can try using the ones underneath them, but the first 2 films might just be way overexposed. So now that you've taken some photos, once the film is coming out and actually developing, one thing that a lot of people do, which you should not be doing, is shaking the film. I think it became a thing with older cameras. However, for these cameras, you do not need to shake it. And the reason for that is because there are actually chemicals inside of the film which are working on developing your photo, and if you're going to be shaking it, then it's going to mess it up a little bit. With that being said, instant camera film is very sensitive to light. Therefore, you should always try to allow your photos to develop in a darker place. This way, it'll allow the film to actually develop all of its color. Additionally, when you are taking photos, make sure that you are not covering up the light sensor, because that is what is going to control this flash over here. Just make sure you are holding it like this. Make sure you aren't covering the viewfinder, the flash, or the light sensor. sensors. And obviously keep your fingers outside of the frame. So once you have a collection of photos, like I said, it is sensitive to light, so what you want to do to store them is actually store it in a place that it won't be exposed to so much light, because unfortunately these films will fade a little bit over time if they are constantly exposed to the light. So that's just a tip that I have for you guys. My last tip for you guys is make sure you are purchasing the film from Amazon. That's what I found is more cheaper. However, if you are going to be looking on Amazon, make sure you aren't looking for the international version, because those ones aren't covered under warranty. And I've seen a lot of reviews on the international versions where an entire pack of 10 just came out all black, so they ended up being defective. I will link the ones that I do purchase for 60 cents each. I think it's actually about like 58 cents each, but I think they did raise the price a little bit. I'll link those ones down in the description box, but I do not purchase it in a bulk pack. I just buy them individually. The minimum that you need to purchase are 2 packs of 20 though. It's also the same rate if you are going to be purchasing a bulk pack. I just rather go with the smaller one. Additionally, they do expire. Some people are not aware that they do expire, so it is better that you are going to be purchasing it one by one rather than having way too many at a time and not being able to use it up by the end of the year. So all that being said, I'm gonna head on to the accessories. The accessories that I purchased are also from Amazon. First thing that I would recommend for purchasing this camera, first let me talk about the accessories that it does come with. It only comes with essentially 2 accessories. One of them is this wrist strap, which you can just put around your wrist while you are taking photos. It simply just attaches to the side like that. The only thing that I would say about this is that you can't adjust it so that it wraps around your wrist nicely, so it could slip through very easily. However, it's not really that much of a problem unless you just really like to drop stuff. The other accessory that does come with this is it's actually a place for you to add on this button attachment. Before, this little nub right here, it just used to be flat. They give you 2 options. You can either use this diamond looking one. It's a little bit transparent, a little bit pink, or you can use this clear one, which is actually glow in the dark, but it's not like super bright or anything, so please don't expect that it's gonna like be super lit up or anything. It's very easy to put on, and they give you a little sticker so that you can attach it. This is the diamond looking one. It's a little bit pink. This one's very common, but I would actually recommend it, and that's just to get a simple little case, because if I'm being honest, sometimes I'm scared that this button's just gonna turn it on and then you're gonna actually waste a lot of film by accidentally pressing this. Plus you just might scratch up the entire thing, so I would recommend getting a case like this one. It's very easy to bring around. This one was, I think, about $12 on Amazon. It's really not that expensive. It's not necessarily a hard case except for this part. The rest of it is kind of a little bit flimsy, but this has magnets in it so that it'll secure and it won't just flop around everywhere. It's actually quite strong. This one also does come with a pocket in the back for you to carry your film as well, and it's really not hard to slip this in and out of the case. In fact, you can actually take off the case so that it's easy for you to just take a picture with the case on. All you have to do is take off the little buttons. I can show you guys what it looks like. It's very easy. You just slip it in real quick and you can easily take your photo with the case on it. So that just might be extra protection in case you think you might drop it. The material inside of here is velvet, and it's actually very soft on the inside and outside. This specific case also comes with a strap, so that if you just want to wear it over your shoulder while you're out taking pics, then you can easily add this on. It's super easy to attach and it's very cute to actually wear. I wouldn't be embarrassed of bringing around this. One thing I would say about this is that the covers on the side here aren't very secure, and this whole portion is actually exposed, but it is a pretty good case. The strap is also adjustable, so you could adjust it to however you like. If you do not like this case, you could also get a neck strap. I just got this one off of Amazon as well. This one is just a floral print, and I got this one because I have another camera as well that I could attach it to. But the strap on here is very thick, so you shouldn't worry if it's gonna fall or break or anything. And I'm not gonna attach it right now, but basically this is what it would look like in case you do not want to carry the other case around. This one is also about like $13 or $12, something like that. Really not too expensive. So this is also something I would recommend getting if you are just going to be taking a few quick shots. This camera also does have 2 little notches on the side for you to use the neck strap, so it is not just on one side. Plus, if you are left-handed, then you can move this wrist strap onto the other side. However, regardless if you are left-handed or right-handed, the button is always on the right. So sorry. Another accessory that I would recommend purchasing for this camera is a little photo album. They do have some on Amazon, but I did not purchase one because I don't have very many photos at the moment. But I have seen tons on Amazon that are just a little bit over $10. I think they're mainly around $12 and they hold a lot of photos in it. There are little mini pocket-sized ones because the films are small. There are also larger ones that you can look at. I've seen some photo albums that actually hold about 120 photos, so that would honestly last you a really long time. So I'm planning to purchase one of those later in the future when I do get a hold of more film. So lastly, I'm going to tell you guys just how I feel about this camera. Number one is that it is kind of expensive, but at the same time it is an instant camera. In the long run, taking all these photos, it is going to be a little bit more on the pricey side rather than having to pay like 17 cents per a 4x6 photo from Costco, and these are only like 2x3, so it's really just like half the size. The film as well, it does expire, so you cannot purchase a ton and just keep that for a long time, so you actually have to also stress about if you're gonna waste and use all of that film as well. And a really obvious one is that you really only have one shot at getting your photo. Literally, you only have one shot. With that being said, they do have a little printer where you can upload photos from your camera, and so then you are able to just print it on this film. However, I think the little printer is around $100 rather than the $70 camera. Another thing is that you really have no idea how the photo is actually going to turn out until it prints. So that can be a little bit frustrating. You just have to be patient and work with it. Another thing is that when you are storing these photos, especially in those photo albums that I did mention earlier, because the film is so thick, the photo album is actually kind of like in the shape of like a cheese, I guess, instead of closing flat. That's due to the thickness. Additionally, with the photo that you are getting, it is kind of a small area that you are covering. Something that I did forget to mention is that this camera does run on batteries. It runs on 2 AA batteries. You are also going to have to be purchasing batteries as you are using it rather than a plug-in where you can just simply recharge it. On the brighter side, this is a little fun gadget to have if you are interested in this. I think this all just depends on how interested you are in the instant camera kind of deal and if you are willing to purchase all of these items for it, because obviously not everyone will be able to afford 60 cents every shot, plus sometimes the shots might not even come out how you want them. However, using this camera, it does save you time from having to go out and develop your photos, because obviously it is coming out right there and then, and in general this is just a really cute gadget to have. So this really just depends on your preference. So that's kind of all I have really to say for this video. If you guys have any more tips or anything else you want to say, please message me down in the comment section below. Also feel free to share any tips or information that you guys have as well. I'd be happy to know, and it'll also be shared to a lot of other people who might be looking for tips. But with all that being said, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any other video recommendations. That's all I really have to say. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.